What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Unstoppable, the Elite Mind and Body podcast for men. I'm your host, Taj Howell. This is episode 88 of the podcast right now, and I'm looking forward to doing this episode because there's a lot of men currently that are running from themselves. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the immeasurable cost of continuing to run from yourself as a man. Okay. Now, what I mean by this is that most men are running from themselves or their thoughts or their life or their relationship or being honest with themselves in some sort of way. The realization that the wrong life, right? Whether that's with their career, their home, their marriage, and that they're too deep in to admit it. Many men are running from the fact that there's a version of that he's actually a version of himself that he's ashamed of. Whether that's the fact that he cheated on his partner, or he drinks too much, or he's checked out as a father, right? There's another type of running is the fact that the man is. Hold on one second. I want to check the internet. My internet's a little bit poor. Give me a second, guys. Mano, tiene Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. Gotcha, guys. We're gonna try to do this right now, but it looks like it's a little bit choppy. Hopefully, it's not too bad. Okay, we're gonna keep going up. What I was saying though was certain things. Men many times are running from themselves in different areas. Okay. Now, that could mean, like I said, the realization that you built the wrong life, or the realization that you're living as a version of yourself that you're ashamed of. Or potentially living with grief that you haven't yet processed, or potentially running from the fact that you peaked as a high school athlete, or you peaked in the military, or you peaked in your earlier career and never got back to a level that you wanted to. Another thing you could be running from, men typically run from, is a trauma that you minimized, that you downplayed. Oh, the divorce wasn't that bad, or I lost somebody, but it wasn't that bad. Like I was able to muscle through it. The fact, another thing that men can be running from is the fact that you're not actually happy, despite having everything that you said that you want, whether that's, the house, the cars, the, motorcycle, travel, the wife and kids, the picket fence, all that stuff, right? Now, when I say men are running from this stuff, I mean that they're numbing themselves, right? With staying busy, or by using the most socially acceptable way to numb themselves, alcohol, right? Or it could be even scrolling. It could be sex. It could be pornography. It could be eating junk food. It could be anything that stops the fact that when you're silent and when you're not staying busy, your mind races in ways that you don't like. And I want to help you kind of identify this, if this is happening to you in this podcast, because it's happened to me before. I've been the guy where the silence is deafening. And, I've been the guy where if I wasn't staying super busy, I would feel like thoughts of the fact that I don't feel like I'm enough, or I'd feel like, maybe I should be further in my life than I am. Or I'd have thoughts about, maybe I wasn't supposed to be in this relationship, like back when I was married, or like, maybe I wasn't supposed to have kids this early, like different things that different thoughts in your mind, beliefs that may have stemmed from traumas, may have stemmed from previous conditioning as a child, may have stemmed from a million different things. But I've been that guy where the silence is deafening. I've also been the guy who likes to sit in silence, and I'm coming from you at a place right now in life where, I love my life at this point. I'm at a point where I've been through more than most 31-year-olds will imagine of being through, even in the next decade of their lives. I've been through a lot of shit. I've built business. I've lost business. I've been married. I've lost the marriage. I've gone through divorce. I've had kids, with two different women. Like I know, like I've been in pain. I've struggled. I've also been really happy. I've achieved a lot of victories. I've made a lot of money. I've also lost a lot of money. I've moved countries. I've lived in multiple different homes, multiple different countries, in different homes. You know, I've shared custody. I've lived with kids 24/7. Like I know, like I have a lot of life experience. Not only that, but I've also trained almost 1,000 men at this point, coached when it comes to training, nutrition, mindset, everything. At this point in my life, because of everything that I've been through, many men, if they would have continued to hide from the voices and continued to hide from the unpleasant truths, would not be as happy as I am today. The reason why is because, you know, maybe you look like many of you guys know me, some of you guys don't know me, but my life is very complex. You know, my whole family lives in Canada. I live in Dominican Republic with my kids, and I live with my girlfriend now. She's an amazing person. I also have my ex-wife who lives down the street from us. You know, we split city with my sons. I have a daughter, and my daughter's mother lives, you know, a few miles away. You know, my life is very, very busy. I also run this business. I have 9 employees. You know, I do retreats. I do all these different things. Where I am in my life now, with my happiness, I am truly, genuinely happy and fulfilled every single day, even though I'm a divorced father. You know, there's many people who, once they go through something like that, never find true happiness again because they're afraid to sit with themselves in that uncomfortability, in that silence that they don't want to hear. And this is the problem that most guys have. And it doesn't necessarily need to be about divorce. It could be about something else. It could literally be about losing someone. You know, maybe there's a death in the family. Maybe you lost a parent, sibling. Maybe you lost a family member, cousin, uncle, whatever. If you're running from yourself, running from the fact that you need to sit with yourself for a moment, process everything that's happened, realize if you're still building the life that you want to build, or if you're building a life that you thought you wanted, but now you don't want. You know, like the problem is guys numb themselves with alcohol, with work, with scrolling, with sex, with porn, with food, with anything that stops the silence. But in reality, being silent and allowing your mind to think through what you're going through, or through the past things that you've been through, or through the future that you want to build, allowing that silence to evaluate everything that's going on and to make the right decisions moving forward is what most of you guys are not doing. You're staying so busy. You're trying to outrun yourself. You're trying to outrun the pains. You're trying to outrun the issues that you faced. You're trying to just stay busy, 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 busy. Gym, training, work, investments, kids, family members, taking care of this, taking care of that, mowing the lawn, just fucking, it's just constant busyness. And I'm not saying it's not important to be fucking busy. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, and I just realized that I'm recording this not on the mic that I wanted to record it on. Now I'm recording it on the proper mic. Okay. Hopefully, it's funny. This episode is just a chop job, man. It's hilarious. The internet's probably terrible. The stream is probably coming in bad. I'm at a coffee shop right now, and I wasn't even recording with the microphone that I wanted to use. Whatever. It's all good. It is what it is. But the thing is until you allow yourself to sit in that silence and really listen to what you have to say about yourself and what you have to think about and allow it, you're not going to know if you're running from some shit. And this happened to me. And guys, let's do a sound check really quick. Let me know if you guys can still hear me, if everything's coming through clean. If the sound is coming through clear, loud and clear. Just type in and be like, I hear you, or clear, or like, you know, I hear you, whatever you want to write. Just because I need to know. But essentially, you need to figure out, like, am I running from something? Okay, you guys can't hear me? Okay, awesome. You guys have got to figure out if you can hear, or sorry, if you are running from something. And the best way to learn whether or not you're running from something is if you feel a little bit like a little bit of anxiety when you're not doing something. If you feel like you always need to be doing something, always need to be on the go, always need to be like in rhythm and motion and progressing and da-da-da, that is a very clear sign. And I'm telling you from personal experience, it's a very clear sign that you may be running from something in your own mind that you need to address. Okay? Because here's the thing, like your ego, which is basically like your pride, your masculinity, your pride, your ego. You understand what ego is. Your ego protects itself by staying in motion at all times, right? And so if you stop for long enough, your ego will start to feel the things that it doesn't want to feel. So the ego pushes you to do. Take action. Work. Right? Train. Like fucking, read TV. Even when you're like at home, even if you're not working, whatever, it's TV, it's fucking, it's playing online poker, online chess, whatever you're doing. Staying busy, phone games, scrolling, social media, whatever the fuck it is, right? And as you continue to stay in motion, that ego doesn't have to feel the stuff that you're not addressing. And the longer you bury the stuff that you haven't yet addressed, the longer it holds you back. And what I mean by it holds you back is this. Have you guys ever heard of what a glass ceiling is? A glass ceiling is essentially a roof over your head, a ceiling above you that you can't see. And it limits your growth and it limits your potential on this planet because you can't fucking see it and it's above you. So every time you try to go up, boom, it knocks you back down. Glass ceilings are created when a human being doesn't fully address the things that need to be addressed in order to become a better version of themselves, right? And a lot of times this happens when a person goes through something, like I was saying at the beginning, goes through a painful moment, loses somebody, builds a life that they didn't necessarily think that they wanted to fucking build, or gets everything they wanted and realizes it's not actually what they fucking want. And that a lot of times comes down to materialistic things, right? But once you understand this, you have to take the time. If you ever feel, remember, this is the step. The step number one is to feel out whether or not the anxiety, whether or not you have anxiety being alone and not doing something. If you feel that little bit of like a pit in your stomach, or like your stomach sinks, or you feel a little bit of butterflies, just sitting in silence, that's a fucking sign that you probably have something that you're not addressing that you need to get through to lift the glass ceiling that's above your head to be able to take your life to the next level. Whether that's with mosquito, whether that's with in any area, right? In any area it can be. Now, one of the first things that I do in my retreats, right? Because you guys, many of you know, some of you don't know, but I do retreats. I did my first one in February, got my next one coming up here in a couple of months. One of the first things that I do in my retreats, the very first day, is we do what's called a dive. Okay, and the dive is the first phase of the Invictus retreat. In the Invictus retreat, we have 4 days, 4 steps in the mindset framework. First step is the dive. The dive is where we are radically honest and we confront everything about who you are, what your fears are, what you're not doing, what you are doing, what's working, what's not working, the things in your life that are fucking broken, the things in your life that are great, the traumas that you've had currently, the traumas that you've had in the past, the traumas that you don't want to have in the future. We dive into everything. And I want to give you a small piece of what we do in the retreat in this podcast. So stay tuned. I'm going to give it to you here in a minute. But the power of this is that you can uncover in the silence the things that you know that you need to overcome in order to remove that glass ceiling. And when you identify those things that you need to be to when you identify the things that you need to eliminate from your life and uncover so you can remove that glass ceiling, stuff starts to shift really fast. You start to see the world differently. Perspective starts to change. Your gratitude that you may not have right now for a certain moment or event or thing that happened to you, your gratitude will come back and will arrive for that thing. Like for me, for example, I am grateful that I went through my divorce. I am so grateful. I wouldn't have met the woman that I have now. I wouldn't have the life that I have now. I wouldn't have the self-trust that I have now. I wouldn't have the ability to truly know myself like I do now versus if I would have stayed married. I wouldn't be this guy. I wouldn't be I wouldn't box. I wouldn't have, there's so many things, right? It's not even just, we're talking relationships. We can also talk about, pushing through with your fitness goals. If I would have quit on my fitness goals when it got hard, or if I would never have competed, I would not have the same level of ability to deeply compete with myself, right? So what we want to do with this first step, okay, and this is part of my retreat, and I want to give it to you a little bit right now. There's two things you're going to ask yourself. And for the men in my community, when you watch this video, I want you to do this as well. And when you watch this podcast, I want you to take this action, and I want you to post in the Brotherhood and let us know the answer to these two things. Okay, the two questions that you guys are going to ask yourselves. Number one is, what am I avoiding right now? And the only way that you're going to get a real good quality answer out of that is if you sit for like 10 minutes without your phone, without anyone around, without a TV on, without music in the fucking background, without anything. Just sit there and see where your thoughts go. Literally just see where your thoughts go. As those thoughts start to come up, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, whatever, you're going to have a journal on hand. And in that journal, you're just going to write. And you're not going to write for any specific reason. You're just going to write to write. You're just going to write. You're not going to fucking write anything planned. You're literally just going to write whatever comes into your fucking mind. What am I avoiding right now? That's a question you're going to answer. You will get an answer. You will get an answer. If you sit alone with your own thoughts for 10 minutes, you will 100% get an answer. And you're going to write it down. Second question you're going to ask yourself is, what would I do if no one was watching and I couldn't fail? What would I do if no one was watching and I could not fail? You're going to ask yourself that question once you get the answer to the first question. And you're going to find an answer that probably surprises you. It's probably going to be an answer that, well, I can't say probably. It might be a fucking answer that makes you want to blow up your entire fucking life. It might be an answer that makes you want to quit your fucking job. It might be an answer that makes you want to divorce your spouse. It might be an answer. It might be an answer that makes you want to go get and start working out. It might be an answer that makes you want to completely leave your friend circle. It might be an answer that makes you want to switch religions or become religious or stop being religious. Like, you're going to get such a deeply profound answer from asking this question, these two questions, that it might change your entire life just from doing this one exercise. Because when you find these answers, what are you avoiding right now? And you actually give yourself 10 minutes to, I would even do 20 or 30 minutes if you have the time. But, well, that's the thing. You do have the fucking time. You're just not making it. That's the thing. You have the time for anything. You could literally right now, you could read an entire book start to finish right now if you wanted to. You could make time for it. You could, but you're not. So take 10 minutes. For those of you who want to be serious about this, take 20 or 30. But just sit with yourself, Grab a journal. Journal out. What am I avoiding right now? You're going to get an answer. After you've been alone with your thoughts for 10, 20, 30 minutes, you're going to get a fucking answer 100%. Second question you're going to ask yourself is, what would I do if no one was watching and I could not fail? Right? Because At the end of the day, if you could not fail in your ventures, and if no one was watching, you might do things a lot different. I want to motivate you in this episode right now to stop running. Stop running from yourself. Stop running from the life that you could have. Stop running from the body that you could have. Stop running from the relationship that you want to have, whether it's with the person that you're with or with the person you're not with. Stop running from yourself. Stop running from the truth. Your life's going to be a lot better. Your life's going to be a lot happier. You're going to feel a lot more fulfilled. And you're going to understand yourself better. And that is the most important part of this whole process. Thank you guys for listening in. I think I want to start. I've really enjoyed this past little while doing these videos, to the point where I think I'm going to start. I think I want to start doing these videos, man, like almost daily. Like I really want to start doing more of them, and I'm going to start chopping them up and putting them on IG too, like the actual posts, because I think people get a lot of value from stuff that I'm talking about here. So if you get value from these podcasts, and that's the thing, there's only ever a few hundred of you on live at any given moment. And if I don't post them on Instagram, nobody's going to see this stuff. So I think I'm motivated, yo. I think I'm gonna. It's not even that I'm motivated. I think this is the right move. Communicating this kind of stuff to people that need it. In my opinion, this might be more important than my gym stuff. So looking forward to this. You guys expect a lot more of these videos. A lot more honest discussions where we look at. Baby, go into fresh. Where we look at different topics that are going to help you guys grow. Okay, I'm all in to help you. I want to see you guys all succeed. Have an amazing rest of your guys' week. It's only Monday. Let's lock it and kill it. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. For the guys in my brotherhood, do this process. Ask yourself the 2 questions and post it in the brotherhood community.